Right, now a section of civil society organizations have castigated Parliament for failing to protect Kenyans from drowning in the heavy storm of the cost of living and heavy taxation. During a forum that was held on Tuesday to discuss the country's state of economy, the stakeholders accused Parliament of passing what they term as unfriendly laws and playing to the whims of the executive. The civil society groups also blamed the government for failing to fulfill its promise to tame public debt, which they say has increased by up to 14.6%, slightly over a year since the Kenya Kwanza administration took power.
Power to the people, power.
It was during a forum at the Bomas of Kenya that brought together various civil society groups and human rights defenders that the robust discussion on the country's current state of economy unearthed the depth of the financial crisis in Kenya. Despite the assurance by the Kenya Kwanza government that they will stop all forms of borrowing, the country has recorded a 14.6% growth in public debt in slightly over a year.
As of 30th September 2023, public debt accumulation stood at 10.3 trillion. Between December 2022 and September 2023 alone, we've borrowed more than 1.4 trillion, representing a 14.6% growth in public debt.
Anytime you hear a cabinet secretary of finance has come forward and has announced that we now have a higher budget than last year, go and mourn, because it means you have a higher debt to pay and ultimately higher fees and tax to pay.
The upward shift of the debt ceiling has led to an increase in debt servicing, a move that has not only reduced spending on basic social services, but has also increased the tax burden.
Tax have increased, but the economic outlook and the economic growth in itself remains stagnant. We have the housing levy at 1.5%. The impact is reduced salary, reduced household income spending. We have increased VAT on petroleum products from 8% to 16%.
So Kenyans continued to pay tax. But the last year, our schools are closing without disbursement of their capitation. Our public secondary schools are the next team that will have pending bills.
The stakeholders also castigated Parliament for dropping the ball and becoming an appendage of the executive.
The executive has successfully managed to divide Parliament among itself. Committees, let's treat you guys well, we'll send projects and roads to your constituencies, and then allow us to lift the budgets, and that blunts the accountability edge, because they look the other side, and committees are actually supposed to be the strength of Parliament.
We have to send Parliament home, because they are not representing us. These are the same people who voted in Financial Bill 2023. We don't want affordable housing. We want food on the table. We want to take our children to school. Hiyo ndio sauti ya mama mboga na mtu wa boda boda.
Legislators present at the event recommended the need for a restructuring of public expenditure.
We have Isiolo International Airport, which is complete. Who is using that project? We have Lamu Port. Who is using it?
If those expenditures are spent for the correct purposes and the right price, then we would have a very big ripple effect in terms of those expenditures.
The civil society groups, which attended the Tuesday event dubbed Okoa Uchumi, resolved the push for lowering the overwhelming debt burden over taxation, cost of living and unemployment, among other issues affecting Kenyans. Safin Acheng Oma, Citizen TV.